The objective of this video is to analyze some inconsistency, at least 10 examples around the world of the socialists of the 21st century, of the new socialists, the new liberals, depending from which country or which continent we are looking at them. We start with Europe. Europe has been, during the last 5 years, run by a coalition that was guided especially for the extreme left environmental ideas. And these ideas have brought Europe to fight against the uniqueness of the agricultural, culinary history of Europe. Remember, in Europe you have countries that have a very important tradition. Italy, Spain, France. The food of this country are recognized as the best food in the world. But at the same time, you have the European Union that through regulation is limiting this industry. But Europe approved new norms about new houses and old houses, and these norms are extremely limited. These are norms that are good for the extreme north of Europe, not certainly for the south of Europe. So, if you are an house owner, if you own your house, or maybe you have 2 houses in Spain, Italy, or Greece, you will have to face in the following year tens of thousands of euro in order to have your house, to align your house with the new European norms. There are many people, many families that their only asset is the house that they own. But it would be worthless without investing in improvements that are mandatory by the European Union. Several months ago, it was discovered a network of a possible corruption between socialists. Actually, one of the presidents of the European Parliament, Eva Kaili, has been jailed for a few months because it has been found money in her house, bags of money without explanation. But it seems that it was a piece of a scheme of corruption that arrived from the north of Africa and from the Middle East. It seems the corruption was originated with the World Cup. We don't know yet if it will be confirmed or not, but at least they found several people related to the socialist parties with few bags of money. In Spain, you have a special branch of the judiciary system that it is called 8th attorney. The 8th attorney have accused one Catholic priest of 8 because this priest, the name of this priest was Custodio Ballester. He said that the radicalization of Islam could harm the Catholic. That actually it seems true if we look throughout Africa or maybe in Egypt or with what happened with the Copt, or throughout Africa you have many attacks on church. There could be Catholic Church or Protestant Church, but anyway you have many attacks on these churches. So, but this priest, in order to express his point of view, have been accused of 8 and he could be jailed up to 3 years in order for what he said. Then, if you go to Italy we have an Holocaust survivor, Liliana Segre, that a few years ago was named honorary senator by the President of the Republic. The left parties started to instrumentalize what happened in the concentration camp to Liliana in order to attack the other parties, the ones that are not from left-wing ideas. And then it started what it has started, the war between Israel and Hamas. And most of the leftists are pro-Palestine. So now the left parties have suddenly forgotten Liliana Segre and what Liliana Segre represent with her time and with their suffering in the concentration camp. Then, if you go to Canada, to the Justin Trudeau Canada, you have a school, the Michael Higgins School. There is a Catholic school. One of the students said that in his opinion there were only two genders, man and female. So the principal of the school, it seems, that called the police, and the guy, a 16-year-old boy, was jailed. Now it seems that for him it's very difficult to find another school where he can keep on with his studies. I don't know how it evolved, but a 16-year-old boy had been jailed just to say that, in his opinion, there were only two genders, man and female. Then, if you go to Mexico, AMLO, in his point of view, he considered, for example, that you have to fight crime with good actions by talking, by negotiating, and not by jailing them. Actually, in Mexico, during the AMLO, the current presidency, it has been the 4 years of the highest crime rate in Mexico. So it wasn't really successful what AMLO is doing in Mexico. Then we go to Maduro in Venezuela. Venezuela is always an emblematic country. In Venezuela, Maduro will have this year, the 2024, the election, and in order to ensure his winning, he decided do not allow to Maria Corina Machado, the opposition leader, to run. So the Venezuela court inhabilitated Maria Corina Machado. This is a leftist way to win the election. It's a new way in order to ensure your re-election. And then if you go to maybe to the Argentina of Javier Milei, before the government of Milei, there was a leftist government, a government that was an example also of the socialism of the 21st century. And in Argentina, it happened something that is particularly interesting. The government was using the central bank in order to finance its expenditure. Some of these expenditures actually are not very clear. The judges now are investigating. So, thanks to use the central bank in order to increase the money supply from thin air, Argentina, when Milei took the presidency, was in an hyperinflationary environment. But I let the last example as the most emblematic. If you have listened all around the world, the March the 8th, the feast of the women feast, one of the leftist speeches that were common through continents and through latitudes were the fact that all the problem were the white, paternalistic man and the capitalistic system. All the problem of the world. And all the problems of women injustices. So, I took an example, another country that represent the socialist or the communist government. I'm talking about North Korea. In North Korea, I discovered that there are female brigade, that the member of these groups are taken from schools, young children, and they are trained in order to provide pleasure to the regime. Some of them with dancing, other kind of pleasure. I let you imagine what it is. I wouldn't like to describe it, but it is a very important and symbolic example. In this case, we are not talking about the white supremacist. We are not talking about the white paternalistic culture that you might have in the Latin country or in the north part of Europe. We talk about Asia and we talk about North Korea. I think it is an iconic example of what the left thinks. I would like to ask, do these leftist women that March the 8th, it has already passed, but it was very common to listen to these comments, what they think about North Korea. In North Korea, you don't have any white supremacist. You have an Asian country with very strange uses, let's say. So, at the end of the day, I think these are only examples, but unfortunately, these are examples that show to us the inconsistencies of what the evolution of the socialist and the communist idea are meaning in the society in which we are living now. This shows the total inconsistency of the new socialist and communist idea. In the meanwhile, best regard, and I'm looking forward to have you in my next presentation. But please do not forget to share this video with your friends, give me your like, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.